But I'm curious, because you said you were a scaredy cat. What's your like top five horror games? And we'll sort of discuss. We'll go back and forth.
I am not a scaredy cat. I am a stressy, depressy, lemon zesty. So, if I'm being honest with you, my horror games aren't really horror games. So,
Okay.
my number one would be the World of Warcraft Halloween events because they were. I don't listen. Don't judge
No. I'm not.
me.
Not judging you. It's just out of the box, and I'm ready to hear more.
Like when they would have the headless huntman. You would go into a dungeon and you would do like the headless huntman or whatever it was. It's been so long. I'm a recovering World of Warcraft addict. I've kicked the habit, but it was a lot of fun because you would get unique gear. It was just enough kooky and spooky.
Okay.
Under that, I guess does Darkest Dungeon constitute as a scary game?
It can be whatever you want.
Well, Darkest Dungeon, because it's a psychological thriller, because I don't know if my person's going to have a heart attack and die.
Okay. What is Darkest Dungeon?
Darkest Dungeon is a side-scrolling dungeon crawler.
Okay.
But instead of just, there's things that can kill you, and it's a roguelike, so it's perm death. So instead of things that could just kill you, your character can get stressed out from diving in the dungeon. So you go into a dungeon and you see literally Cthulhu. You're going to be like, yo, what am I doing with my life?
Uh-huh.
And the person can get so scared that they could have a heart attack and die. Or they could get so scared that they have a choice to be like, oh, I'm scared. Or they could be like, we didn't come here to die. Buckle up. We're making it out alive. And it's really cool, but you see some shit in there. Like, it's really spooky and scary. And I'm soft. I'm afraid of Boo from Super Mario 3. I'm afraid of Bowser from Super Mario 3. I'm soft.
He makes some scary. He makes some scary faces for sure. Okay, I didn't know about that one. That sounds interesting. I do like more of the psychological horror, and we have some people in the chat right now putting their scary games. But if you want to put right now in the live or in the comments of the YouTube video, what are some of your favorite scary games, and what are your thoughts about that? I'll be pulling them up as I go. But give us some more. Give us some more, Cresta.
Okay, so that was 2. Number 3, I have this game called Oregon Trail, not Oregon. Oregon.
Oh, I know that one. Okay.
I got it randomly from a Humble Bundle, and I interviewed the guys who made the game, Men with Many Hats, many moons ago. That game is so funny. It's the right amount of scary. It plays exactly like Oregon Trail, but it's with zombies. It is the right amount of scary. That's enough for me. That's great.
Okay.
My second to last one is going to be, now I don't play this. I don't play this game. I cannot stress enough that maybe I've played 5 matches in total, but I do enjoy watching some Dead by Daylight. I enjoy watching survivors juke the killers, and I enjoy the killers like, where are you going?
Yeah.
I can't play it because I scream, I cry, I don't like it. And my last game, I played this game against my will, so I'm going to include it in every one of my scary games. I played Outlast, and it was against my will. I'm so scared. Look at all the other things on my list about being scared. And I played Outlast. It was against my will, but that game is spooky.
You played a scary, for sure scary game. So I do want to talk about Dead by Daylight because I didn't put it on my list. But it definitely is scary. It's a lot scarier than it should be, I think. Yes. You don't expect to be as scared because I know when I was playing it, I would be there and just out of the corner, out of nowhere, just I don't know who these characters. I don't know who all these characters are. There's a ton of them.
I don't
scary
know any
characters.
Of the killers. All I know was the joke names. Like the one that scares me the most, Bing Bong. I don't know his.
I remember her from that movie. Yeah, Bing Bong, the movie. Yeah, she's a character. Chat, what's the girl's name? I know who you're talking about, where she does
the one with the bell and they go invisible, and everyone just calls them Bing Bong. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know their name either, so I couldn't correct you. I don't know, but let us know in the chat so we can get the right name for them. But yeah, it's a lot scarier than I think it should have been. Whenever I load up the game, I think I'm gonna have a fun, silly, spooky time, and I'm just there getting jump scared because of somebody just coming around the corner. I'm like, oh my god, he's right. I'm like, where's the killer? I haven't seen him in a while. And Wraith, thank you, Chattington.
Thank you.
Barrington. She means the Wraith. There it is. Thank you so much.
You're minding your business doing the generator, and all you hear is bing bong, bing bong.
Right behind you. Yeah. And I did have Outlast on my list as well. So I'll talk a little bit about that one. But I'm proud of you. You playing Outlast? That's cool.
I had a friend who came over to my house and was like, there's this game called Outlast. And I'm like, is it scary? And they told me no. And then they lied.
Oh no.
And they were like, you can't look too long because then you'll lose sanity. But if you don't look, then they're gonna get you. I'm like, I don't want to play this, but I was already committed. And this is them behind me, like this is horrible. I'm no longer friends with that person.
Because they tricked you into playing Outlast for sure.
Yes, I'm scarred. I'm soft.
So I kind of want to go over my top 5, and I kind of did games, but then some like a franchise, like the first one, number 5. I'm gonna go backwards from what you did, but number 5, the Silent Hill franchise. I think the Silent Hill franchise does great with atmosphere, building a very spooky atmosphere, and with all these remake games that they're announcing and all these new projects they're announcing. I'm super excited to check it out now because I know if I go back to the other Silent Hill stuff, because the graphics aren't great, I'm not going to be as immersed in it. But like if they do a remake now, I think in the Silent Hill franchise with any games like that, it'll provide a great ambiance. It looks great, and it will definitely provide some scares. So I'm going to put for number 5, just the Silent Hill franchise in general, just because there's not really one. I know of it. I've played a little bit of some of them, but I can't really pick out like one that I think is good, but that's a franchise you should definitely check out, especially with all the news that came out with all their new projects.
Is Silent Hill the one where someone's daughter or kid got lost up in like this village and there's an asylum or something like that?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, I'm hip. I know.
I'm hip. I know. This game you might not know, and it's kind of like under the radar, I guess. There's a game called Simulacra, and I died inside many times playing this video game. Simulacra, it's on Steam, but it's kind of innovative where you're looking at somebody's phone the whole time, like it just shows the phone screen, and it's small, like it takes up your screen, but it's like that, and you're trying to figure out things by going through different apps. You go through different apps on people's phones. You can have conversations with people. You can do different things, finding videos and pictures and doing like all this stuff. But as you're playing it, ugly stuff happens. I don't know how to explain it. There's sounds in it that when I'm playing, I thought that was here. Like it sounded distant. Like there was like a knock that was distant. And I was like I'm here. And I'm just like looking, I'm like, did somebody whisper? Like a bunch of that stuff. And there's tough. Like it was so, I mean, there's probably clips on Twitch when I played it a long time ago, but it was so just mind-bending, psychological for me. And you're just going through this person's stuff to try and figure out something. And I definitely recommend it for this time. Even if you play it alone or if you play it on stream, it's a great stream game because it is scary and it will get you jump scared. There's some stuff flashing and things like that. So there's a lot of things going on. Simulacra, all caps. I think there's a second one. I don't know. But the first one got me. I was scary. Oh my God. My number 3 was Outlast, because what you said, very scary. The first one was really good. I think I like the first one better than the second one. It has the green when you're looking through a camera. So if you don't know the POV for this one, you don't have anything to attack with. I think that's the most scary. Like you can't attack, right? Like you just have the camera.
Yeah, like you can crouch.
Yeah,
you can do things, but you can't attack. The most you can do is like, please don't get me while I look away. But if I hear you get too close, what am I going? I gotta run. Like, what am I gonna do?
I think those are the scariest ones because, like in something, in like Dead by Daylight, well, not Dead by Daylight, you can like put stuff down and get away, but like I think the scariest games are ones where you don't have like a gun or a knife or anything
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
no way to defend yourself, and it's not even in the interface. Like that's always been my biggest gripe with like Dead by Daylight. There are 4 of us and 1 of that. You mean to tell me we can't jump it? Come on now. Come on now. We put
You
down
can do
totems, so we
something.
clearly got magic. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so it's definitely a feeling, a different feeling when you are
Mhm.
helpless.
Yeah.
So Outlast, I think it really captures the way that you feel helpless, and you just have a camera, and most of the time you're looking through the night vision of your camera, and you run out of batteries, like you said. You can't have it up all the time. You have to have batteries for the camera, and you got to put it. You look down, and then you look up, and a lot of that stuff. So I think
Yeah.
Outlast is really good for that. And I like that one better than the second one. Another game for number 2 that I really enjoyed was late. Well, I didn't enjoy it. Uh, that people enjoyed watching me play was Layers of Fear.
I've
It is
heard of
a
this game.
it's a psychological horror, sort of puzzles and stuff like that, following a painter going mad through in an old house, and there's different levels, like there's checkpoints and stuff, and you come back to the main room, but it just continuously deteriorates, and it's all sort of in your mind, and there's things that happen that are not actually happening and things like that, and I couldn't I couldn't tell you what, like, if I played it again today, I'd probably not remember, probably because I'm
Mhm.
repressing it, but I could not get through an hour. I had to do like an hour at a
Oof.
time. I was like, this is a lot. Like, I felt depleted when I finished a
Oof.
level. That, for me personally, and I think if you're looking for something like that, like a psychological horror, that's your thing. Definitely try out Layers of Fear, because at the end I was like, I don't know if I can keep going. I was like, this is a lot. Like, me emotionally, sort of, and me just like getting scared every,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So Layers of Fear or something. uh if you're into that, if you're a masochist, go for it. This is your season. Do it up.
Spooky
um
season.
Spooky season. And my last one is the Resident Evil franchise, specifically Resident Evil 7. Man, the comeback to being scary for the Resident Evil games was so welcomed. I mean, Resident Evil 7 is so spooky when you're in the house and there's a family, and you have to get away from the family, and all this stuff. There's a big story to it, and uh the main character is not the greatest, but you being in the house and the ambiance, like I said with the Silent Hill franchise, the entire ambiance for most of the Resident Evil franchise, especially because I just played Resident Evil 2, the remake. I'm going to play Resident Evil 3, the remake,
Mhm.
next week. There's a remake of Resident Evil 4. That's just scary. Like, all of them, collectively, there may have been some misses, but collectively, if you can't go wrong with a Resident Evil game. So I put that as my number 1 Resident Evil franchise. Go check it out. There's a ton of new stuff, but 7, really spooky. 8, there's a portion of a boss that is very spooky. Go check it out. So those are
I
our
have
kind
a
of
question for you.
sure.
You did say that when it got back to being spooky, did Resident Evil depart from it and become more of a psychological thriller, or more of a like
No,
a zombie survival horror sort of thing at that point?
it became a lot more action, a lot more
Okay.
action based, because that's what was sort of popping off at the time. So Resident Evil 4 was the first departure from the way they used to have it. Resident Evil 4 is how I got into it, because of that way. Like, you have a camera behind the back, and you have, guns. It's more action, third person based,
Mhm.
and not as scary as the other ones. And then it got more actiony in number 5, and then number 6 got a little out there, and a lot of it lost the plot.
Okay.
And they went just straight up. Resident Evil 6 is kind of wild, and Resident Evil 5 is kind of wild, but in a campy way.
Okay.
um the famous one for Resident Evil 5 is the protagonist has a big boulder, and you keep pressing X, and you punch through the big boulder. And he has big muscles, though. He could do it.
Something something Wesker? Is that the name of the
Yeah.
game?
So yeah, they kind of departed, got more actiony, and then Resident Evil 7 is when they were like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board. Still in the world, but let's go back to scary, psychological. And I was like, oh, this is so good. So yeah.
If you want to see all our videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, click the subscribe button below. Otherwise, we'll start posting spoilers about your favorite new movies.